Welcome to Audiobook da Morgan. Today's reading is Utz, chapter 32. But before we start, please subscribe on my channel and press the button to activate notifications.
Chapter 32. Utz had some specimens of this funny money to show me. He dropped them like chocolates into the palm of my hand. Very interesting, I said. But now I tell you something more interesting. Most porcelain experts, he continued, interrupted Butka's discovery as the utilitarian byproduct of alchemy, like Paracelsus' mercurial cure for syphilis. He did not agree. He felt it was foolish to attribute to former ages the materialist concerns of this one. Alchemy, except among its more banal practitioners, was never a technique for multiplying wealth ad infinitum. It was a mystical exercise. The search for gold and the search for porcelain had been facets of an identical quest to find the substance of immortality. As for himself, he'd taken up alchemical studies on the advice of Sigmund Krauss, both as a field for his polymathic impulses and as a means of evaluating his porcelain mania onto a metaphysical plane, so that if the commonist took the collection, he would nonetheless continue to possess it. Utz had read his Young, his Goethe, Michel Mayer, the ramblers of Dr. D, and Prenanti's Diccionario Mito-Hemetique. He knew all there was to be known about the mother of alchemy, Mary the Jewess, a 3rd century chemist who is said to have invented the retort. Chinese alchemists, he went on, used to teach that gold was the body of the gods. Christians, with their insistence on simplification, equated it with the body of Christ, the perfect, untarnishable substance, an elixir which could snatch you from the jaws of death. But was this gold as we knew it, or an adorum potatible, to be drunk? Jewels and metals, he said, were thought to mature in the womb of the earth. As a pad fetus matured into a creature of flesh and blood, so crystals reddened into rubies, silver into gold. An alchemist believed he could speed up the process with the help of the 2 tinctures, the white stone, with which base metals were converted into silver, the red stone, which was the last work of alchemy, gold itself. Did I understand that? I hope so, I said weakly. He shifted to a different tact. What did I know of the homunculus of Paracelsus? Nothing. Well, Paracelsus had claimed to create a homunculus from a fermentation of blood, sperm and urine. A kind of test tube baby? More probably a kind of golem. I knew we'd get back to golems, I said. We have, he agreed. Would I now please reflect on the fact that Nebuchadnezzar had a burning, fiery furnace heated to 7 times its normal temperature when he put in Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. 7 times, I ask you. Utz waved his hands in the air. Are you trying to tell me that Shadrach, Meshach and the Abednego were ceramic figures? They could have been, he answered. They certainly survived the fire. I see, I said. So you do think the porcelains are alive? I do, and I don't, he sniggered. Porcelains die in the fire, and they come alive again. The kiln, you must understand, is hell. The temperature for foreign porcelain is 1,450 degrees centigrade. Yes, I said. Utz's flights of fancy made me feel quite dizzy. He appeared to be saying that the earliest European porcelain, Butka's redware and whiteware, corresponded to the red and white tinctures of the alchemists. To a superstitious old roux like Augustus, the manufacture of porcelain was an approach to the philosopher's stone. If this were so, if, to the 18th century imagination, porcelain was not just another exotic but a magical and talismanic substance, the substance of longevity, of potency, of invulnerability, Then it was easier to understand why the king would stuff a palace with 40,000 pieces, guard the arcanum like a secret weapon, or swap the 600 giants. Porcelain, Utz concluded, was the antidote to decay. The illusion was, of course, shattered by Frederick the Great, who simply loaded the contents of the Meissen factory onto ox carts and sent it as booty to Berlin. But Frederick, Utz fluttered his eyelids, and with all that musical talent, was really an absolute Philistine. End of chapter 32.